That is not at all what I thought was gonna happen when I read like your little comment.
Ninja's new cut.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna learn a few barber terms. I thought that like we were gonna go to barber school, but instead, imagine if Ninja got Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hand Me Down Podcast. We are your hosts. My name's Natalia.
I'm Alan.
And as always, thank you so much for joining us for yet another episode. Today, we are excited to talk about the topics at hand, which I guess not like heavy topics, but topics that I think that should be discussed and we should have conversations revolving around these topics. But if you clicked on the video, then you know that the topic is Machismo Marianismo.
Yeah, I don't remember when was the last time we had kind of like a discussion, like not like super serious. I feel like whenever we've had serious conversations, they've been in context of movies, but this is kind of just like our experiences and what we've seen throughout our lives.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was the last thing we talked about.
I don't know. I feel like, well, I guess that being said, like this episode is a little bit out of our niche, would you say? Like, because we do usually talk about things like in the context of media and stuff, but maybe perhaps still within. But this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I think that the context that we're going to bring to it is going to be an interesting conversation, so definitely stick around for that. But as always, we do have a little bit of a conversation before the main topic. So Alan, would you like to break down the episode?
Yes, of course. As always, we're going to start with how are we? We're going to catch up a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and move into Internet Corner, which I feel like might be a little short. But that leaves us more space for the main topic at hand, which we're very excited to have. I feel like we're still gonna hee hee ha ha throughout the episode, as we always do. We find ways to.
And as a reminder, if you have not watched our previous episode, you are aware now that we have a new little segment that goes on throughout the episode where our wonderful associate producer Milena has given us 4 mystery sound effects to use throughout the episode. So we're super excited. Last week we had some really funny ones. And then so this week, same deal is we start the episode. We have no idea what's loaded onto this little device that is very similar to Sam's remote in iCarly. So we're really excited to be able to find an opportunity to push the button and figure out what the sound effects are.
I can't wait. I'm like, let's get into it.
I know. I'm just like, let's say something funny so we can press it.
So in that case, how are you, Natalia?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I have been, okay, in all honesty, me when I lie, not that great. In all honesty, I've been feeling very homesick lately. And I feel like because I didn't really go home for the holidays like Christmas, I went to Mexico instead, which I mean, I was still with my family, but we weren't like home, like in, where I grew up in San Jose. So right now I'm in Los Angeles and I'm the only one here. So it's just been like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I miss my family. And so the other day, I was scrolling on TikTok and then I saw a TikTok that was just like, oh, like 5 signs that your dog loves you. And then it was just like all things that my dogs do, that my dog does. And like, I started crying. I was like, oh my God. And then like literally like 2 minutes after I finished crying, I get a text from my oldest sister. That's
from Churro. I thought you were going to say from your dog.
Imagine.
Miss you too, dog. He calls you dog.
He's just like, hey, what up? But no, like I got a text from my oldest sister and she was just like, hey, when are you coming home next? And I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy actually. Like the way that I like just finished being like, oh my God, like I'm really homesick.
Has she ever given you a present that might have a camera in it?
Dude. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Hello? What was that?
It was a goal.
Was it?
Here, let me turn it up.
I thought it was a baby crying.
Hit it again. That was actually pretty good.
It sounded like a baby crying. But yeah, dude. Oh, then that was perfect then. So she gave me a gift with the camera.
You
I
spoiled
pressed another one. I'm so
I didn't hear it.
Okay, they go.
It's such like a visceral gulp. Like it sounds like it hurt. It sounds like it sounds like when you have a sore throat and you're like trying.
Tom and Jerry gulp. It sounds like a strep throat gulp.
Yeah. Oh.
But anyway,
Yeah.
So I was just like, dang, the power of like siblings, or I don't know, like it was just so crazy because like she was just like, when are you coming home? Like I miss you. And then so we just had like a little conversation. And then at the end of the conversation, I was just like, that was so weird because like I literally just finished crying because I like missed home. And then she was just like, dang, then my like big sister's senses must have been tingling because she was like, I just got the strongest feeling to like text you like right there when that like in that moment.
That's crazy.
And I was just like, what? Like that's I don't know if you've ever had an experience like that. Like maybe not your brother, but just like somebody that you're close to.
No. Well, I feel like I've had like same brain moments where we're just like same brain.
Yeah,
like,
same brain
you
moments.
say almost the same thing, or like I don't know where you guys say the same thing, but yeah, it's always freaky.
Yeah. So I mean, that was kind of sweet though, because I was just like, oh, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully I will get to go home soon. Not sure when, but yeah, that's how I've been. How about you? How have you been?
Good. I've been good. I went to the drive-in for the first time in a while. I saw Mean Girls. That's why I'm wearing pink, although it's not Wednesday.
It's salmon color.
It's salmon color. It's my salmon color shirt.
My name is Richie.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Natalia hasn't seen it, so I'm going to do a little spoiler review. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It looked like everybody was having fun on the set and just like making it. The writing looked like it was a lot of fun, and like people having like just the cinematography was very fun. I think it hit a perfect balance between like the Broadway show and a movie. I think it mixed both of those elements very well, and it like found a good middle ground. But other than that, yeah, great performances. Renee Rapp, of course, I think stood out. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I got new film, so I started shooting with my little film camera.
There we go.
Little cheap little film camera, but I can't wait to see what the shots are going to look like, because my flash wasn't working for like half of the thing.
Yeah, we were scared. I was like, but then it got fixed. It got fixed, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
And then another thing that happened to us literally yesterday, we had a Karen moment.
We did.
It was scary. I was like, bruh.
I was a little like, oh, hold me back.
It was. We were leaving a house party in this neighborhood. Our friends' parents threw him a birthday party, so we went, and it was like 12. And we were outside in the driveway saying goodbye, but we were kind of close to our car, so we were like in her driveway, but we were like still on the sidewalk.
We were in the street. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We were in the street.
And we were just like saying bye or whatever, and then she comes out and she's all like, hey guys, can you guys get out of my driveway, because I have animals in the house and they're barking. Or she didn't even say in the house. She's like, I have animals and they're barking. And I was like, I honestly don't hear anything. So we were just still saying goodbye and all that stuff. And then she came out again. And then we're all like, okay, well, just like give us a sec. Like we're about to leave. Like chill. Then she came out a third time.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember at this point. Yeah. I was just like, we did move. We just, I guess, didn't move enough for her. But yeah.
And then she just like snapped. Like literally, she's just like, get the fuck out of my yard. Like lunged towards us. She's like, get the fuck out of my yard. I'm not fucking playing, blah, 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 blah. And we're just like, what the fuck? And then she said, she was just like, she's like, stop being so childish. I'm like, lady, you're the one who's screaming at us.
I was like, none of us were screaming back. We were just all in disbelief. We were like, like, because she was scary. Like she was like, just like the way that she like started to get closer, and I was just like, oh my god. And I was also just like not having it as well. Like I honestly just felt like my heart started to race, and I was like getting more and more angry, and I was literally this close to like yelling back at her. Like, I don't know if you saw me back the fuck up like right away, because I was just like, oh my god,
You're like, hold me back.
I was just like, I am this close to getting in this bitch's face. Like, I was like, oh my god.
I just like don't know what to do in that situation. I'm just like, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I obviously don't want to get violent, but I'm like, what?
Yeah, like I don't. First of all, did not hear her dogs barking at
No.
all. But I mean, I understand. Like, I don't know. She made it seem like we were on her lawn or like hanging out on her porch, but we were on the street, like in front of her house, and we were saying goodbye. Like it was just like a tender moment between like our friends that we don't get to see often.
And we were like, not yelling, not anything. If anything, we were whispering.
Yeah, we were just like, bye everyone, you're so cute. Like, and then she just came out and just like literally like a light switch just started screaming at us.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like just like I just had that image of her just like coming in like lunging, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was just like, let me back up really quick. I was like, lady, you need to chill a little bit. You need to chill a little bit.
And yes, she was.
Yeah, which I think calls for another one.
The boom. Yes. Oh, that's a good sound effect. She was. That one's good. That one's good. Ooh, I like that one. I feel like that one will come in handy for this episode.
That one scared me.
I know, because compared to and then boom.
Boom. I was like, shit.
Now we know when to adjust it. Louder for the gulp.
Quieter for the boom.
For the boom. Yeah, that's how I've been. It was intense.
Yeah, I think it was intense. And then literally seconds after that, we were like, okay, well, bye. And then we just like ended our night. And I was like, damn, that was insane, actually.
I feel like I need a playbook of what to do when I encounter that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my mind goes like 500 different places.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't know what route to take. So most of the times I just like back off and I'm just like, well, fuck you. Like,
yeah, like I was like, lady, please. Like, Jesus Christ. And then when I'm driving home, I'm like imagining scenarios in my head. Like, I want to whip that bitch.
No, so real in my head. I was just like, all the comebacks are coming to me now.
I know how I was just like, I can't think on my feet, but I can think in my Honda Fit. There, I'm safe.
You can't think on your feet. You can think on your foot. On your fit. But yeah. Anyways.
All right. Well, I mean, don't be a Karen. That's a life lesson.
Mm-hmm. That's it was crazy.
Yeah, she almost fucked around and found out. Like, she was very close. I was like, girl, get out of my face.
And was she like living there alone? Because she didn't use her kids as an excuse or anything else.
Right, it was just the dogs. I was just like, lady, like almost like tantrum like. But anyway.
No, it wasn't tantrum. But yeah, anyways, do you have anything for Internet Corner?
I didn't. This is because I've literally just been the same exact thing. Just looking for DigiCat.
Same thing as last time. Yeah. Fair. You got to do your research before you buy, right. Before you pull the trigger, right. Or before you hit the
gritty.
No, but before you hit the click on the camera, the shutter.
Say click. Take a peek.
I was like, I know what it sounds like, and I know it's emotion. Okay. Anyways. My Internet Corner is going to be a little bit short, but it's still Internet Corner. All I have to say to you, Natalia, is what if Ninja got a low taper fade? What if Ninja got a low taper fade?
I'm going to be for real with you. I don't know what that means.
Do you know who Ninja is?
I know who Ninja is, but I also don't really know what he looks like. I think
he has like blue hair. He looks like that. He looks like that ice cream cone with the like blue sprinkles. You know what I'm talking about?
He looks delicious. Okay, I think I kind of know who. This is the Fortnite fool, right?
Yeah, he's a Fortnite streamer, like very famous Fortnite streamer.
Okay, I'm getting him confused with Mr. Beast. That's not him.
No, Mr. Beast creates like crazy content
on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Ninja is a Twitch streamer, and what if he got a low taper fade? You know, a low taper fade's a haircut.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a haircut.
But it became a meme this past week.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you this TikTok. So you can plug it in because you need to hear this.
Imagine if Ninja got a low table fade.
Okay, it's a song.
Imagine if Ninja got a low table fade.
He killed it. I've been saying this whole week, and my girlfriend has been getting so mad at me. She's been so annoyed.
She just can't imagine it like you can.
But I have this other one that kind of gives it context.
Okay.
Or I will give you context. Or I don't remember what this one is, but this is a musician called Ericdoa. He has made music for video games, I think like Valorant. And he has also been on the Euphoria soundtrack.
Oh.
He's had a couple of his songs.
Okay.
He started to blow up around 2019, 2020. Mm-hmm. And he also like streams and plays video games and all that stuff.
Dang.
So he had this idea like the day of, he's all like, I kind of want to do something. And he's like, I have all these skills. So the day of, I was like, well, I'm going to sing. I'm going to do a live stream on Twitch where I just like sing. Like, I don't have anything like planned out. I'm just going to start saying stuff.
Like song making. Oh, shit.
And he said that around like minute 30 or 40, it started to get like deep, like therapy. Like he was talking about, well, let me see if he can say it better. But yes. Okay. So this is like him singing. So.
Okay.
My abuelo died like 3 years ago from fucking COVID. And he don't even know that his grandson made it. Cause I used to tell him that I wanted. That man got me my first guitar. He saw me with, bro.
So he started to get really deep.
Okay.
and talk about things like that have affected him and things like that. So he's like, I'm being too vulnerable on the internet right now. So he's all like, I had to think of something funny. So then he just started singing, what if Ninja got a low taper face?
Wait, so Ninja didn't get a low
No. I don't know if this is real, but he was aware of the meme, and I if I'm not mistaken, I think he got one.
Should we look it up right now? Ninja getting low taper face. The way it came up right away.
Let's see.
Let me see. Oh.
I think he might be react because he was like on a podcast.
This is the voice behind. His name's Ericdoa, and he's exploding across
I should have
the
just like
internet with
shown you this video.
and sports leagues,
Well,
all
I guess maybe he
using
didn't.
sound.
Oh, it's been done. He did get one.
Oh, he got a low taper fade.
This calls for for one,
one?
a new
Which
one.
one?
I don't know. Let's do D.
D. Oh, I can't hear it because I'm not plugged in.
No, that was the
Wait.
Yeah,
I want to
we're-
be part of the joke. I know. I was just like. T. Okay, ready?
I'm ready. Ninja got a low taper fade.
Not what I was expecting.
The fart.
Because I predicted it when we were setting up.
You thought it was gonna be a
I
fart.
thought it was going to be a fart. What can I say? I'm a lover of fart humor.
The first time I saw this, I saw it was like the pictures on TikTok. You know how it's like one picture and the other one? Mm. It was a picture of Ninja, and it was like, what if Ninja? And then you like swipe, and it was elotes. And like, it kind of sounds like, what if Ninja got elote buffet? That's how I was introduced to it, elote buffet. And then I just went down the rabbit hole and I learned, and I was like, damn. But Ericdoa, he is a Latino artist, so go check him out. Check out his music.
That is not at all what I thought was gonna happen when I read like your little comment.
Ninja's new cut.
Yeah, and I thought I was gonna learn a few barber terms. I thought that like we were gonna go to barber school, but instead, Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade.
If you get anything out of this episode about machismo and marianismo is what a ninja got a low taper fade.
And this fucking fart sound.
What a way to start this episode.
Who is the fartist? The artist behind this fart.
Who's the fartist? I thought you meant like, you know, he's farter, but this is the fartist, you know, like
the elite.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just we're just stalling. We don't
like this.
We don't want to be vulnerable on the internet, so
I think just like the level of thinking that you need to have in order to think of like Ninja getting a low taper fade is beyond like Neil deGrasse Tyson. That was my internet corner.
Slay.
You're welcome, guys.
Way to go, internet corner. I have nothing to contribute.
That's fine.
Oh my god.
That's all we needed.
That was great. That was a really good one.
Thank you. No, because I was like wrapping my head around. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do for internet corner? And I'm all like, well, obviously I got to do that.
So he's going to skip this part of the podcast.
No, she was excited for me to talk about it. I think it grew on her. But
right, yeah.
But with that, we are going to go ahead and do some housekeeping real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. So if you are listening on a podcast app, go ahead and give us a review and give us 5 stars. We would really appreciate it. It lets us know that you love the podcast. If you are listening or watching on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Again, that also helps us push us in the algorithm. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing your comments. We try to reply or at least like as many as we can. So let's start a conversation about Ninja's new cut. And if you don't do any of that, go ahead and follow us on social media at HandMeDownPod on TikTok and on Instagram. We post the best clips. So if you miss an episode, don't worry, we got your back. We post the best and funniest clips on our social media. And with that, thank you guys for listening, and let's get to the rest of the episode.
Yeah, and join the Discord.
Oh yeah, I forget the Discord. It's like that new baby that everybody forgets about.
Whoa.
The gulp. There's this like running joke on The Simpsons that Homer always forgets Maggie, the baby. He always forgets that he has like a third kid.
Damn.
But it's funny. Yeah, let's get into it.
Alrighty, cool. All right, so we haven't found out our 4th sound effect. Should we find that out before we get into the discussion? No.
I think it needs to be a surprise.
Okay.
Maybe like at a low point in the episode where we're just feeling very vulnerable. You know, as a pick me up.
As a pick me up?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. All right. Okay, so as we stated earlier in the episode, today's main topic is going to be machismo and marianismo. So I am almost certain that you might know that first term, machismo, but I've actually come to learn that not many people know marianismo or have not really been introduced to it. So as always, I think we're going to start our discussion with kind of like introducing what these concepts are. But before we get into that, we just wanted to do a quick disclaimer of like, this isn't like an extremely studious conversation with like sources and stuff like that. There are some, but it's just going to be like a majority through our personal experience. And of course, like our experience does not speak for everybody who may identify with some aspects of the identities that, you know, we identify with, obviously. So just wanted to give that disclaimer that it is going to be some of our personal experiences, and hopefully you can relate to some of them. And if you want to add to the conversation, which we always invite you to do, please do so in the comments. We do want to hear what you guys have to say about these topics.
Yeah, I feel like this is a topic where a lot of people can have opinions, I would just love to hear them from everybody else. Everyone has different experiences, so that's where the conversation really happens.
Yeah. And so another thing that I wanted to point out about like the context in which we'll be having this conversation is that when we're going to talk about Marianismo and kind of like its effects, but the way that I've kind of only been seeing it discussed online is in the context of like heteronormativity. And I think that's like, well, obviously that makes sense because like it is like quote unquote the most common thing to, or like, you know.
Yeah. Statistically.
So I think what we want to do in this conversation is, or especially like my contribution to talking about Marianismo is going to be talking about it with the context of somebody who identifies as a woman and who also grew up queer. So that's kind of like our little spin on the topic.
Because that's just like such a different conversation to have.
Definitely.
A lot of similarities, but also like a lot of differences. So I'm very excited. So we should go ahead and like define these terms so that we all have like a base that we're starting with.
Yes,
because I feel like these words get thrown around a lot, and not that we're saying that this is our own definition, but this is the definition we're going to be going by for this episode.
So do you want to go ahead and define machismo?
Yes, I will. Machismo, according to Merriam-Webster, is a strong sense of masculine pride and exaggerated masculinity. Machismo encompasses positive and negative aspects of masculinity, including bravery, honor, dominance, aggression, sexism, sexual prowess, and reserved emotions.
Yeah, so that was a quote from somewhere online, and I totally forgot to write the source. So I'm sorry if somebody comes across this podcast and is like, I wrote that. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that is the definition of machismo. And then so you have machismo, but then you also have Marianismo. And so Marianismo is actually not in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Boo.
Yeah.
So it was a definition that I got off of another website, but the definition that they wrote was Marianismo is a Hispanic term that describes an ideal of true femininity with characteristics derived from Saint Mary of Guadalupe, a central figure in Roman Catholicism in Mexico. And so another website said that Marianismo emphasizes the role of women as family and home-centered. It encourages passivity and self-sacrifice and chastity. And some examples that I could think of so that you're familiar with the concept is like women being seen as like these nurturing roles. So it's like saving yourself for marriage, sacrificing for their children, and putting others' needs before theirs. So that is Marianismo in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think the examples really help solidify it, and I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, like I feel like I had always seen it too, but I never had a term to put to that.
Yeah, and it's a term that was coined in the 70s, so it's like kind of recent, fairly recent. I mean, recent in comparison to machismo, which was coined in like the 30s, 40s. So yeah, so it's like a kind of like a newish type of thing that has been studied. But yeah, so before we go into our conversations, we're going to talk a little bit more about the context of like which we'll be having this conversation. So I think the main one, or I think the most interesting one to me, is going to be the fact that Alan would be talking about, you know, experiences with machismo as a first generation Mexican American, and then I'll be talking about the context of this conversation as a second and third generation, which I think does have a lot of influence over the ideals that were taught to me and like who was teaching me these things and stuff like that. Another interesting part of our conversation is like Alan only had a brother or has a brother.
Has a brother.
Whoa. My bad, yo. Alvin, if you're watching this. And so he grew up with only a brother and I grew up with only sisters. So we didn't really have that, I guess like I didn't see what a male was going to be raised in my household.
And I didn't know what a woman would be raised in my household. Yeah.
So that's kind of like to give context of our perspective and like how we are going to view these things. And I think also adds a little bit of uniqueness to our perspective in these things. But yeah, so I have
final context.
Yeah, I have all sisters and majority female cousins. And then the final context is that I'm gay. That's the final context, and I think that adds a lot of context because, as we said before, it was like I had only seen this conversation take place in the context of people talking about heterosexual couples and like those types of gender roles, and just like it was very binary, very heteronormative. So that's kind of like, you know, where my perspective is kind of like, where do I fit in with that? How do we navigate these things that are being taught to me? But yeah, so I think we're going to start with talking a bit about machismo and how that affects young men.
Yeah, so I'm going to be bringing forth a lot of ways that machismo has affected me, which I know is like machismo for a lot of the part affects women because they're obviously being subjugated as like second-class citizens and like seen as less than because of machismo. But another thing is that machismo also affects men and the way that they think and the way that behave and all this stuff. So I just want to start off by saying that machismo is a social construct that we created as society. We create what it means to be a man and what it means to be like a strong man and like a really man. So with all the stuff that I'm going to say about how machismo affects men, I never wanted to sound like, oh, poor us, because who put this fucking system into place? Men, you know? So like, I just want to put that out there as like, yes, it's something that affects us, but it's also something that not very easily, but like, we're still holding in place as men. So I just want to say that. And then talking about machismo and gender identity. Obviously machismo is like being a tough man, being a manly man. And because you're raised, or because I was raised in an environment where that's what is expected of you, is to be this manly man, and if you stray away from it, you don't feel like you're enough of a man. If you show any signs of being feminine or having quote unquote feminine traits, because quote unquote feminine traits are also socially constructed, they're not real. But if you were to show any of those, you were made to feel like less of a man. And then we just like go into like what it means to be a man. And I feel like that's where the root of machismo is like what it means to be a man. Which we said up here. Where is it? To be brave, to have honor, dominance, aggression, sexism, sexual prowess, and reserved emotions. So I forgot what I was going to say. Well, and I'm going to take this a little bit from our friends at Todos Chido podcast, Everything's Cool podcast. They talked about the Sassy Men Apocalypse, which I feel like I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, because I don't know if I fuck with it.
Fuck with it, the fact that it's coined a term, or fuck with the concept of Sassy Man Apocalypse?
Both.
Okay.
Because, well, first of all, sassy man is like a boyfriend who has like a little bit more of like feminine traits and kind of like knows their worth. So first of all, having that term be sassy, because like, what does that mean? That women are sassy and that's why, you get me? So now that's placed onto men. So like now a man is like kind of has these women traits, which is like being sassy. You get me? Yeah.
I guess when a woman is being quote unquote sassy, she's never really called sassy. She's called a bitch. And so like when a man does it, all of a sudden he gets this cute little word. Yeah. Sassy.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, it just doesn't, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. And then it's also just putting like some people complaining about it or just being like, oh, like it's an epidemic. Like men are expressing themselves this way. Like I've seen also it being like used like kind of as an endearing thing, like, oh, I love my sassy man or whatever. But other ones where it's like, no, like they shouldn't be sassy. Like they should go fighting wars and they should provide and this and that. So like that's where I'm like, I don't know. It felt like what's it called? That is, I think, just another example of not being able to stray away from these machismo traits that are placed upon men.
Yeah, because that, or I guess the way that the term came to be, would you say that it was women who put that into, who like coined that, or do you think it was men who coined that? I
do think it was women, and I might be mistaken, but
I agree. I don't know, but I agree with you. My theory is because I feel like sometimes when I'm scrolling on Twitter and I see a bunch of like, I mean, not to like sound like who, but like I see a bunch of like straight people things on my feed, and I'm like, are you guys okay? Like, my least favorite thing is like when girls post and they make fun of guys who post photo dumps, and I'm like, why are you judging them for that? Like, why is that seen as something that like men aren't supposed to do? First of all, who are you to tell them? Or like, I don't know, like I just didn't fuck with that because I see that a lot, and it happens a lot towards the end of a month because a lot of people post like photo dumps at the end of the month, and I'm always just like, I don't fuck with that. Like I don't fuck with this judgy ass vibe here.
Yeah, because like, if you want machismo to end and to break away from those types of ideas, it's not going to help if you're making guys think that they have to behave a certain way and not be sassy and not do this and not do that. Like that's my whole thing is like, well, now men are going to be less comfortable expressing their emotions or like knowing their worth.
Yeah. Oh my God, I should have brought this for Internet Corner. This is now coming back to my memory. A TikTok that I literally saw a few days ago. It was this guy and he was just like, hey, like I made a list of things that I finally tried for the first time as a man because I was scared to do them simply because I am a man. And it was like Pinterest was one of them, trying Pinterest.
I'm on Pinterest.
I love Pinterest, dude. Pinterest was one of them. Skincare was another. Wearing rings was another. And
I do skincare, sort of.
I'm forgetting what that last one was. But he was just like, it was just basically, he was so excited to talk about it. And I was just like, oh, I'm so excited for him to like feel comfortable doing these things. And I'm also sad that he didn't feel comfortable doing these things either.
Yeah, no. And it's tough. I just want to say on my list is I want to take a bath. I want to take a bath.
Oh, I heard, I heard I want to combat. And then I was like, you want to combat what?
No, I want to take a bath.
You want to
I haven't taken a bath since I was a kid. You know, I want the bubbles. I want the candles.
You want the rubber ducky.
I want a shark.
I used to have a shark when I would take a bath. I want to play Titanic.
Instead of an iceberg, it's a duck.
That's scary.
Sorry. But sorry, getting back on track. I think that goes hand in hand with reserved emotions, which is a lot of it. Also, kind of dealing back with that sassy man apocalypse is some people expressing concern that men are kind of like, not that they have self-worth, but like that they deserve certain things, like that they deserve to be loved too, that they deserve, because like men are expected to do all this romantic stuff, but not get a lot of it in return. So now that men are demanding it, that's what is like the sassy men apocalypse. It's like not demanding that, but like wanting that. And they call them, okay, little princess, like, okay, like we'll get that to you. And to me, that doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
Because how do you expect your man to be emotionally available if you're going to shut him down whenever he tries to express that he does need that love or that he does need this like reassurance? So
yeah, no, because that's like something that I honestly have to think about as well when it comes to like queer relationships too, is because like romance, as we have like known to be like socialized with it and stuff like that, has been heterosexual. Like I will say that over and over again.
Yeah.
So, you know, like it's just like not like you can't, no matter how much, me personally, I try to stray away from it. That's always something that's on my mind, is like chivalry or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how does that fit into me? Like, but sometimes I'm like, no, I think that's just being a cute partner. Like, but then also feeling like, can I ask for that in return? Or like, is that allowed? And I'm just like, wait a second. Like, I'm already gay. Like, this already isn't allowed. Like, so that's just, that's something that I feel like I have to like learn to navigate as well too. But yes, continue on.
Yeah. And I think another thing with like, that's big with machismo is, like I said, like having reserved feelings and not like opening up emotionally. And for me, it's affected my relationships with my guy friends. Like I feel like for a lot of my middle school and high school, I didn't open up emotionally to guy friends. I always sought out women friends. Which sucks, you know. It just like, I've been conditioned to have it feel weird if I go to a guy friend and like express my emotions and them do the same to me. Even with like my brother or my dad, like it just feels very weird to have these like intimate moments. And I think, again, just reverting back to Sassy Men Apocalypse, if you're going to shame people for doing that, or shame men for showing their emotions, and we're never going to progress of getting out of that machismo mentality. So I've been trying to be better about being a good friend to my guy friends and talking a lot more, but it is hard when it's like instilled in you that like men shouldn't cry or men shouldn't be vulnerable like that, especially around other men.
Yeah, because I feel or would you say that one of the reasons also why you don't seek out male friendships when it comes to like when you're looking for comfort and stuff like that is because it's like, is it like, wait, what am I trying to ask?
Yeah, no worries.
Is that idea of straying away from being receptive to like your homies, like emotional needs, like, is it rooted in just like not wanting to seem girly, which I guess in that case is rooted in like misogyny, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you guys would technically both have to be on the same page in order to have that kind of conversation, right? Dang. And that's, how do you start that conversation? Like if you...
Well, I think the reason it might have only have started like making that process now is because I don't have a lot of guy friends anymore. So the ones that have stuck around, I now after years and years feel comfortable, and I've gotten to know them better, that I know that nothing bad will happen if I were to open up about these things, if that makes sense. But it got me thinking, do you think that internally I found more comfort in expressing my emotions to women because of Marianismo?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It just popped into my head. I'm like I mean, also, like you said, the misogyny part of like not wanting to be like vulnerable with another man, but like it also might be that too.
That's
kind of like that women, although I didn't grow up around a lot of women, but like seeing my tias and grandma and mom, like women are going to be nurturing and this and that. And, you know,
I assume so. I feel like
I made that connection right now.
Yeah. Cause I feel like I don't think twice about these things because that's all I knew growing up, because it was just sisters, because it was just a majority female cousins. And like, so for me, it was just like, that's just how things were. Like we were just like, la, 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 la. And I feel like that I kind of brought when we started living together as well. Like I was just like, oh, that's just how things were. La, 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 la. Like, let's just talk about our feelings. And so I like, didn't like really think twice about it being, or like me being overly nurturing or anything like that. but I can see how maybe subconsciously, maybe I felt like.
And maybe because as a man, you don't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So you're not accustomed to getting it from another man.
That's true.
But yeah, it's always kind of just like this norm that you have in your head that you shouldn't feel these emotions. You should just like keep them bottled up.
Yeah, which is like when in high school, I had this teacher who was talking a little bit about gender roles in one of our lessons. And one thing that he brought up was just like how, like the idea of like a box and how like men kind of box themselves in versus women have always tried to challenge the box. So like women, you know, before they weren't allowed to wear pants. Now they can wear pants. They weren't allowed to do sports. Now they can play sports. And just like all these things. And then versus like men, like if men try to wear anything outside of, you know, what's seen as like traditionally male, like if they want to wear skirts, outrage. If they want to like, if they want to do, I don't know, for some reason, like the arts is seen as like less masculine and stuff like that. Like they get like, you know, looked down upon and stuff like that. And then, so that's always been in the back of my mind too, of just like, oh man, like they can do those things too, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody shut up. But yeah, I
mean, I was listening to this beautiful TED Talk. The TED Talk is called Machismo Hurts Men Too by Alejandro Jimenez. Actually, guys, it's a very beautiful video.
We just wanted to see what the last sound effect was.
But he came to the US, I think when he was maybe 8, and he's from Colima, Mexico. I was like, oh shit. But he talks about kind of the struggle of like not being able to be your true self because you have this box that you need to fit into of like what it's like to be a man. But yeah, just like being your true self. And I feel like the tipping point for me of like trying to be my true self and start to break away from these like machismo ideals was in college, was taking a social class and learning about gender and how it's made up. And it's just like, it's like stupid. It's just like you do all these things to put up this kind of persona, but like if no one is there, you drop your guard and you become who you are. So why are you putting up, who are you doing this for? For society? They're making these rules up. Like I can make my own rules up too.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, well, I'm just going to be me. And I think ever since that, like I've just, with your help too, and just like becoming this person who I am now and feeling comfortable and tapping into my emotions and, you know, doing things that are quote unquote feminine and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, gender roles. Am I right? Like, no, because that's one thing that I like struggled a lot with when I was like coming to terms with my sexuality was the idea that I saw everything black and white. It was either this or it was that. And then it wasn't until like I started to talk about it with like a cousin of mine who also identifies as queer. And he was just like, no, babes, like it's a spectrum. He's just like, you can be over here, you can be over there. Maybe today you're here, maybe today you're there. He's just like, but you don't got to explain anything to anybody because at the end of the day, why should they have that power over you? Like, just like
your jaw was on the floor.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like,
that makes so much sense.
And I was just like, oh, like, because I was just like so confused. Like, first of all, learning this whole new world of possibilities when you come from a place where like that was not talked about at all was insane. And just like him telling me that, I was like, period. I was like, oh shit. So yeah, like I guess that's also just like things that I try to live by too, is just like, you know, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Like if they give a fuck, why do they give a fuck? Yeah. Why do you care that much? Why?
Yeah. It just does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, why do you care so much?
Yeah.
But yeah, then I just wrote machismo is harmful to women. And I think, some women are also just like, that's been their whole life. So they uphold it too, which to no fault of their own. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it a lot with my own family. My mom and my dad have that happen. Just like, I work, so like you like basically like have to do what I say. And that sucks to see. And just like with other tios and tias, and just having these very defined roles, I think is what frustrates me, because I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks.
Yeah. Just like everything being written out for you already, I guess. And just like, yeah, I mean, we're talking a lot about gender roles and how that could really like negatively affect people. And it just becomes like, because I know like marriage is a team effort, and it's just like, you do one thing, this partner does one thing, and this is like everybody works together and stuff like that. But just like the way that they're only allowed to contribute this part, like it's so split down the middle, and it's just like, you're only like socially acceptable for you to contribute to this, and then it's socially acceptable for you to contribute to this. And I'm just like, guys, I feel like if you could dip anywhere, like, it'd be a good time.
I saw this thing on TikTok once that said that there is 3 types of relationships when defining like gender roles, and 2 of them are successful and 1 of them is not. One of them is traditional gender roles, and that's successful just because you have like defined stuff that you're supposed to do. The second is you both are trying to break away from these gender norms, but you guys don't really talk about it. Like, it's just, you guys are just breaking away, and that doesn't work. And the third is breaking away from these gender norms, but still like giving yourself roles within that. And they don't have to be the traditional ones, but you should still have like roles to make just things easier. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a team.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works. And it's but yeah. And I mean, just like going back to your point of what you learned in like your social class, I feel like something that I want to mention, and something that I feel like helped my family when it came to understanding queerness, and like just like, because they also had to get introduced to this world too, because like, I'm very fortunate that they were accepting of the way that I identify, and I know that that's unfortunately not the case for a lot of people, but for me, I was very fortunate for that. And so one of the things that I kind of like talked to them about to kind of like help them understand this world is like, there's differences between gender expression, gender identity, and sexuality. And I feel like not many people know that, or they kind of think it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I guess to put it in a nutshell, so there's the idea of gender expression, which is like kind of how you present yourself. There's gender identity, like how you want to be identified and addressed as. And then there's like sexual orientation, which is like, who you're attracted to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's up to you to share how much you want to share. But understand that those are 3 completely different things, and none of them have to be attached to the other.
Yeah.
I understand that for the most part, they tend to be, but that's not always the case. And so that's where people become prejudiced, because they like see maybe like a guy acting feminine, and they equate that with being gay. And then because of their like misogyny that comes with machismo, like they kind of like, it's just labels. People need labels to like make quick decisions of how they see you and stuff like that. So that was something that I kind of like had a conversation with them about to understand, because it was just like a concept that was hard for them to understand. And like, I understand why that was, because they didn't have those conversations growing up. And like in their circles, especially like in, the Latino community, or like in my case, the Mexican American community. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you learned something new.
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and go into Marianismo really quick. But before that, I just want to say that I saw how toxic machismo was growing up in a household, and just in Mexican media and TV, and I saw it almost everywhere. Like, I feel like even at school, seeing that happen, and I just did not enjoy the way it made other people feel, women or other people who didn't fit into that machismo box. I didn't like how it made them feel. I didn't like how it made me feel. So, although I never made kind of that conscious decision until college, I feel like I had always been like pushing back and just never felt a part of that machismo thing. And I think like machismo and everything goes like, kind of goes hand in hand with like strength.
Yeah.
And like looking manly and like looking tough. And I was always a skinny kid, so I just never fit that. So that's why I was always also just like, I don't like this way of thinking. So
yeah. And it's hard to change the way that you think. It's really, really hard. And so making like conscious decisions and stuff like that, like it takes a lot of effort and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a journey. But I have also seen you grow from the past 2 months. That if we had a clapping button, but we don't, which one should I do?
I've seen you grow.
I've seen you grow.
I've smelled you grow.
But yeah, so it's just like, you know, it is a very tedious task to do.
Yeah. I feel like it's always little things, little everyday things that you have to kind of put up with. And they kind of add up, but you just push through.
Yeah.
Marianismo time?
Yeah, Marianismo time. Nope. Okay, so Marianismo, I feel like, okay, there is a theory online, and I'm forgetting who did the theory. Not online, in studies, that Marianismo and machismo cannot exist without the other. So, which makes sense because Marianismo is kind of like that internalized, like, oh, I'm the woman that needs to like cook for the man and do this for the man and this for the man and this for the man. And that is where I come into this, where, you know, you're being taught all your life, like, do this for the man, for the man, for the man. And I'm like, the man?
Fuck the man.
I'm the man. Fuck the man. And it was just like, because I feel, okay, whoever says that, you know, the topic of queerness is too mature for young children to comprehend, suck my ass. Like, because I am literal living proof that I have been thinking about that since the first time they threw me into preschool, that I knew something was up. Like literally 3-4 years old, knew something was up. Yeah. So, you know, I'm kind of growing up, and then these ideals are being told to me, like, do this for the man and stuff for the man. And so I'm just like, while that is being taught to me, I'm also thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I want a man, or I don't know if I see myself with a man. And so that was very confusing to navigate, because I was just like, it's a little crazy thing to think about as a young child. And so obviously, like, when you start to notice that you're different, you don't want to deal with that shit. So you're just like, like low-key, fuck that. And so I just kind of like rolled with the punches, you know, kind of like did this, did that. But I do remember like me being second and third generation was hearing those types of gender roles being inflicted on me were mostly from grandparents. And what I thought is interesting about the way that I was raised is that the ideals of Marianismo were not really like explicitly put on me by the women in my family. It was the men. It was the men that were like, well, you need to learn how to cook for your man, or like you need to learn how to clean for your man. And then because it was the men talking, I was like, shut up. I was like, well, guess what? You need to learn how to cook for yourself. You need to do this for yourself. And because it was, I feel like, because like my mom is first generation, she kind of already like, I'm sure she's heard that like all of her life. Yeah. And so she didn't really
want to
put that
continue
onto me and my sister.
Wanted to break the cycle.
Yeah, shout out, mom. And so literally the people that were telling me that were like my uncles, or like the males in my life. And so me and my sisters would always be like, yeah, right. We were like, okay, whatever. But nevertheless, like we still, or me personally, I learned to cook and learned to clean and stuff like that. I think mostly because I liked just being helpful and I liked being independent. Like my grandma would always tell me that I would like get the banquito and like get next to her and be like, yo sola, like wanting to learn how to do things. But I think what like around that environment, being able to do it for myself and not like for men is like where I thrived, obviously. Because I was just like, well, I want to learn how to do this because I'm spending time with my grandma, and I want to learn how to do this because I'm doing this and that.
I think that's the difference between first and second and third generation. I feel like with second and third generation, like you said, there was a little disconnect between you doing it for yourself and you doing it for a man. Mm-hmm. While I think in a first generation household, it's always for a man. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's why women are always the women in these first generation families are always rebelling against it and just not wanting to do anything because the only reason you're going to do it is for a man. And you don't see that other side of the coin that you can just do it for yourself. Yeah. And I don't think you learn that until later down the line. Like, yeah. Like my girlfriend told me, like she wasn't having it. And then she got to college. She's like, fuck, I should have cooked. But like, so that for myself.
Yeah. For myself.
So I think that's the difference. And it might also just be because you were also like, what man?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, silly you guys.
Nope, I'm gonna do it for myself. So that might have also been it.
Yeah, no, for real. But oh my god, and I totally skipped over a quote that I wanted to start this conversation with. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I found this quote on an article on truchargv.com. And the author writes, being in a space surrounded by a system that represses your self-expression, especially during your developmental years, will cause an almost instinctual repression of opinion when confronted with an uncomfortable situation. And what I have to say to that is bars. Because this can be taken and this can be seen with both like machismo and Marianismo, because that's what you were talking about, like repression. Yeah. And so what that looks like is like suppressing your emotions and stuff like that. For Marianismo, it's being quiet, being silent, and like,
repressing everything.
Yeah, repressing everything. And then if you're a woman and you're gay, repressing even more. And so that's kind of like, I feel like we should have started the whole conversation with that quote.
Yeah, that's a good one. It sums up everything.
Yeah, because it really does sum up everything about the topics that we're talking about. I guess like when we're talking, because when having this conversation, obviously, as we mentioned before, we're always going to talk about gender roles. And I know the movie Barbie kind of touches upon it, but like dolls being a girl's toy, because like they're trying to implant that in society of like women are going to grow up and they're going to be mothers and they're going to grow up to be this like maternal figure and stuff like that. And like sometimes I wanted to play with Legos. Like I wanted to do.
They didn't let you play with Legos? I thought Legos were gender neutral.
Legos were expensive, so that's why we did.
Same. I only got like these little boxes. Yeah.
We got the Lincoln Logs, like the ones that look like dookies.
Like dookies.
Yeah. We had those, but Legos were expensive. We had the Al Brown Legos. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I had like a tech deck phase. I was that bitch. I was a skater bitch.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so speaking of what I wanted to go into, like with the concept of like having the dolls or the baby dolls being a girl's toy, is that that was also something that was and like put on me from a very young age is the fact that like my goal in life seemed to be that I was going to be a mother, or that I was going to have children, and like
she was going to be with child.
I was going and like I remember either like my sisters or my cousins, they would be like, nah, like I don't really want to fucking do that. And then like everybody would tell them like, you'll change your mind. Like kind of just like, they were like little kids. Like, why are they thinking about that now and stuff like that? And so where it kind of gets interesting in like the context of queerness is like, that was one of the biggest things that I struggled with, was this idea of like being a woman, having this like divine gift of like bearing a child. And like, at the time I understood how it worked. Like you needed a man to like do that.
He gives you a seed. You take it.
Yeah. You swallow it. And then
9 months later.
And so that was one of the things that I struggled with a lot, was just like, because I remember hearing comments growing up, anytime a woman was queer and she was, especially if she was pretty or if she was feminine and she was queer, she was a waste, because she wouldn't be using that like God-given like gift and stuff like that. So that's something that like I was like, oh, I was like, God damn. Like, all right, well, shit.
Well, that's like the main reason why like the church doesn't like gay people, right? Because they're just like quote unquote wasting.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like how I saw things growing up.
The Pope.
That's for you. Just kidding. No.
Just kidding.
And so like that was just like something that I had to like kind of learn to navigate, is just like as a child feeling like a wasted vessel. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like I'm literally a kid. And that was just like, I want to say like that was like the toughest thing to overcome, because like I did grow up in a family that was pretty religious. I didn't go to Catholic school or anything like that. And that's also, I feel like, me being a second generation thing. My mom went to Catholic school and she was like, fuck that. We didn't go to Catholic school. But
it's interesting you mentioned that. I had a friend who I had gone to like a childhood friend that I had gone to like a couple of like parties, like home parties, and I would meet her cousins and stuff, and then she would tell me like, yeah, like my cousins can't wait to like have a baby, like that's what they want to do, like they want to be mothers so bad, and they were first generation, so like having that pressure put on them. But I mean, again, that's also just what they want to do, but I was like, it's crazy to see that I feel like I see it a lot in like first generation communities where like you have a kid like super quick.
Yeah. And I mean, this is like kind of a conversation that we had in the Real Women's Have Curves episode, which you should go check out. But just like equating or like your femininity with your ability to bear children, it's just like, that's, you know, very harmful, especially for people who may not be queer but may not just be able to have children. Like all this like the society stuff, nah, dog, I don't really fuck with that shit. But yeah, and I guess like that's just kind of the struggle of like having those Marianismo ideals placed upon me as a queer person, was just like feeling like the way that you felt less of a man, I felt less of a woman. We did it.
We're good now, guys. Sort of. Still working on it.
Like, no, like that's literally how it felt. Like I was just like, I'm less of a woman.
Well, that's such an interesting, because I feel like we planned this episode with whatever we wanted to say. Yeah. And it's cool how it kind of like,
like the way that both Machismo has affected you and Marianismo has affected me is like we feel less of what we are.
Of what we should be.
Like so that shit was crazy. I was just like, damn, like, and I feel like feeling like I had to overcompensate my femininity with a lot of things, especially younger. I feel like I was just kind of neutral.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe actually now, because I feel like I'm still quote unquote new or still learning. And I feel like that's another banger line that my cousin told me when I was like talking to him about this, as he told me, he was like, a big part of being queer is growing up and learning what parts of yourself are you and unlearning the parts that you forced yourself to become. And I was just like,
banger alert.
Banger alert.
Wow.
And like, I think about that a lot because that's literally what my young adulthood is literally learning who I am, who I'm comfortable, how I'm comfortable expressing myself, like whether that's my gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, and unlearning everything that I did to conform to like, which was years of my life.
Yeah.
Like 18 years of my life. So shout out to my cousin, bro. Fucking wise beyond his years.
Yeah, that's it's crazy. It's like exactly the things that you needed to hear, and like to hear that they still stuck with you. Anything else before we close off? I have just one closing thought, but
I think we touched on a lot of things.
Cool. And hopefully this is a conversation that we continue to have. One of the last things I didn't even get to talk about like mandilon and that term.
Oh shit.
Of just like whenever you do help out your wife or your girlfriend or anything, the other guys are quick to call you mandilon because you're helping your girlfriend out, which is another thing of like, okay, well, or sometimes even girls do it, like call a person a mandilon, and it's like, well, you're reinforcing these roles that only women should do these and men shouldn't. But anyways, the last parting thing that I want to say before we leave is there's nothing wrong if you are a woman and you want to do these things. Like if you want to have these roles, that's fine. I guess what we're saying is that it shouldn't be forced upon you, or you shouldn't feel forced to do these things. Yeah. The need to do these things. Yeah. Like if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, if you want to have all these things, go for it. Yeah. But we want you to have that choice between this or a career or whatever you want to do. Yeah. We don't want you to be put in a box. Yeah. Of just like, if you want to do it because you want to. Yeah. And not because you're being told that's what you have to do. Be conscious and aware about these topics and how they could affect people. But you know, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Slay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're not like talking down to anybody. And if you're a man and you want to be a provider and you want to, I mean, I feel like with machismo there are some definitely toxic things that just no one should do, no one should be okay with, but like I think there are good things when it comes to machismo. Yeah. It's like if you want to be a provider, if you want to be this like strong force, a protector, go ahead. But also you shouldn't feel forced to fit into this box. Yeah. And you shouldn't have your partner also fit into the other boxes. Yeah. Talk it out. Talk it out. Cool. But with that, Natalia, we like to end our episodes with what? A Latino artist recommendation. So thank you guys for making it this far. If you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, please let us know by dropping us a comment. And of course, we didn't cover anything. We ran out of time. We ran over time, but we still ran out of time. I feel like there's still so many things on our list that we did not get to. So if you want a part 2, let us know. But okay, so for the Latino artist, my Latino artist recommendation of the week is a Chilean drummer, singer, and composer called Rubio. So Rubio. Hey. None of that here. For Lo, I worked at Rubio's. Anyways. So this musician, she is an electronic dark pop. She has an electronic dark pop sound with a mix of like chill wave. So it's kind of like, if you know a little bit about music theory, it's like minor chords almost, as opposed to like major chords that sound more bright and stuff like that. This one's a little bit more like on the opposite, not necessarily sad, but like kind of more mellow, which I kind of enjoyed. Does it sound like this? I
can't say that it does now. But so what I find interesting about Rubio is that she has a background in being a punk band drummer. So I always think that drummers make the most interesting musicians when they like shy away from drumming, just because like their sense of rhythm is incredible, and that's the case for this artist as well. The reason that the way that I came across her music was that one scene in Generation where they're having a sleepover and like she's like getting ready for bed and stuff like that, and there's a song playing in the background. That's Rubio's song.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know what scene you're talking about.
Hell yeah. Is that scene the greatest scene ever?
Which, by the way, you guys need to start binge watching Generation. It's on Tubi.
For free.
Because we have a very special guest from that show who will be joining us in February. So
we're super excited for that.
Watch it before February 11th is when the episode is going to drop. So
yes. So, and watch Generation, but also check out Rubio. They make awesome music. And that's my Latino artist recommendation of the week. Cool.
Woo! And with that, I'm going to go ahead and do some housekeeping again real quick. If you're listening on a podcast platform, go ahead and give us a review and give us a rating. We would appreciate it a lot. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Again, we would really appreciate it. And if you don't do any of that, go ahead and follow us on social media at HandMeDownPod. And with that, everybody, thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. And yeah, let us know your thoughts. We really want to know. And with that, have a great week, guys.
Join the Discord. Wait. You got to tell us our favorite sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ready? 1. Okay. 2. 3. And 4.
My stomach and that like went hand in hand.
Let us know.
Bye.
The Hand Me Down podcast is produced and hosted by Natalia Delgado and Alan Gallardo. This episode was edited by Alan Gallardo, and the social media clips are edited by Natalia Delgado. And I'm the associate producer, Milena Ortega. We'll see you next week.